The biggest names in American AI, we're talking OpenAI, Google, Meta, they're basically invisible in the world's most used OpenAI models. They've just completely ceded the throne.
It's an unprecedented statistical flip, and we've got the data. We're talking about 2.2 billion global downloads in just 1 year. This isn't just a minor shift in the rankings, you know. It's a fundamental rebalancing of global AI leadership. The scale confirms it.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a calm, curious look at how quickly the foundational rules of the AI ecosystem are just being completely rewritten. The pace of change has never felt faster.
That's right. And we're here to guide you through this. Our mission today is to really distill 3 critical shifts you need to understand right now.
First, we're going to unpack the hard data that confirms this new dominant force in open source AI. And it's probably going to surprise you. Second, we have a practical playbook for staying visible in what we're now calling the generative engine optimization, or GEO, era.
And finally, we'll dive into a pure scientific breakthrough. An AI system that uses something called vibe proving to solve mathematical problems that have been open for over 30 years. And it does it in hours, not decades.
Okay, let's get into this monumental shift in the open source world because the data really is a shock. This recent study from MIT and Hugging Face tracked massive model usage and, well, it revealed something remarkable.
It's the headline of the entire week. So the study tracked 2.2 billion downloads on Hugging Face between August 2024 and August 2025. And when they sliced the data by the creator's origin, China officially surpassed the US in the open AI ecosystem.
Can you give us the exact numbers here?
Sure. China now leads with 17.1% of all those model downloads. The US is just behind at 15.8%. But the really deep insight is who makes up those percentages.
Right, and what's absolutely staggering here is who is missing from the US side. The Chinese models DeepSeek and Alibaba's Qwen, they account for a combined 14.2% of global downloads. They are the engines driving this.
And here is the kicker, the thing that fundamentally changes how we view the global AI race. The U.S. leaders we talk about every single day, Google, Meta, OpenAI, have a 0% presence in the 2024 to 2025 top charts. They are literally invisible in the open marketplace.
That feels so counterintuitive. We hear about them constantly. Only one notable U.S. contributor even makes the list, and that's Comfy, clocking in at 5.4%.
Right. And for listeners who might not know, Comfy isn't an LLM like DeepSeek or Qwen. It's a popular U.S.-based workflow and tooling system. It's specifically for AI image generation. It just highlights that the American presence is in the utility layer, not the foundation model layer.
So if you look at the strategic divergence, it becomes crystal clear what's happening. U.S. companies are focused almost entirely on closed APIs and, high-margin product monetization. They want you using their subscription services.
Exactly. We see Meta kind of sitting on Llama 3, carefully controlling its distribution. And OpenAI, which, pioneered open source, it shifted away from open releases years ago. Google's best models are often locked behind cloud subscriptions. It's all about immediate financial returns and proprietary control.
Meanwhile, the Chinese counter strategy is aggressively open. DeepSeek is shipping incredibly fast, highly multilingual models and releasing usable checkpoints almost weekly. Qwen is doing the same, improving its whole multilingual suite almost in real time.
They're playing the long game. They're trying to establish their models as the default tool for developers all over the world. What used to be a US-led open source movement, think of like the early days of Linux or TensorFlow, that's now becoming a China-led hardware plus weights game.
Meaning the foundation models themselves, the weights, the multilingual support, are now being set globally by companies optimized for fast open distribution.
Which brings up a really important question. What is the long-term, maybe even geopolitical impact of U.S. companies prioritizing closed monetization over leading the global open source standards?
The global standard for open AI tools is rapidly becoming Chinese-led technology. That brings us to the practical side of all this, visibility. For decades, ranking on Google was kind of a blunt tool keyword stuffing, generating backlinks. That playbook is completely dead now.
That old SEO, search engine optimization, is just irrelevant in a generative future. We are now firmly in the era of generative engine optimization.
GEO.
Let's define GEO simply for everyone listening.
Sure. GEO is just making your content easy for AI models to read, synthesize, and summarize accurately. You have to think of it as writing not just for human scanning, but for machine digestion.
And here's where it gets really interesting because the big players like Google, Microsoft, Perplexity, they've all shared their core advice. AI search heavily favors content that is fluent in machine-readable language.
Which means structure is everything. You need strong brand clarity, sure, but more importantly, a predictable structure. Content has to be designed to be synthesized. If a model can't clearly parse your argument, your facts, your structure like stacking Lego blocks of data, you just won't show up. And we're talking about more than just, putting in some H1 tags, right? It's about clear semantic relationships, using structured data, getting rid of ambiguity. It's tough because the models are also trained on human language, which is messy by nature. I'll be honest, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself, trying to keep my inputs perfectly clean and my outputs perfectly structured for these new rules. It's harder than it looks to do that consistently in your daily work.
That vulnerability is real for everyone. The human brain is built for nuance, but machines are built for clarity. So given these new machine readability rules, how should we really rethink content creation from the ground up?
Content needs to be structured and clear for machine synthesis, not just human scanning. All right, let's shift gears and look at some of the major news highlights hitting the ecosystem this week, starting with model spread and investment.
What's fascinating here is just the sheer reach. Google's Gemini 3 Pro and the advanced Nano Banana Pro are now live in about 120 countries. They are expanding globally at light speed.
Okay, you have to tell us what Nano Banana Pro is, because that sounds like some internal jargon, not a public model name.
It totally is. Nano Banana Pro is a highly advanced Google model. It's often used for these underlying visual and spatial tasks. So its practical function is unlocking character consistency in image generation, 3D translation. It handles the really finicky, detailed work behind the scenes.
And for users who are interacting with the Pro tier, this ability to tap thinking with 3 Pro right in the search bar is huge. It turns these complex queries into interactive, almost masterful visual summaries. That's real power for the user.
And beyond the models, we saw a lot of investment signaling market confidence. Black Forest Labs just raised $300 million. That funding is going to support major tools and infrastructure that people use every day, including models like Grok, Adobe's platform integration, and Flex 2's new 4K image model. The money's flowing to infrastructure.
And if you connect that investment to the bigger picture, you start to see these foundational shifts in education. AI is quickly becoming the new IT major. Enrollment at places like MIT is exploding for AI-specific tracks, and it's pushing out some of the traditional computer science programs.
Yeah, and that educational shift is already playing out in the workforce, and it's happening fast. Accenture, the global consulting giant, just hard rebranded 800,000 employee roles. They are now called reinventors.
That sends a pretty clear message, doesn't it? It's basically a learn Gen AI or you're out mandate for the whole consulting world. They are not waiting around. They're forcing massive, immediate change.
And on a necessary societal note, OpenAI dropped a $2 million grant program focused specifically on AI mental health research. It's a critical area, recognizing we need to study the cognitive and emotional impact of these tools as quickly as we build them.
So do these rapid workforce and education changes signal a foundational sort of rapid obsolescence of traditional white-collar roles that you have to upskill instantly?
Companies are redefining jobs instantly, forcing massive, immediate upskilling globally.
Okay, let's turn our attention to one of the most exciting breakthroughs of the year. It's this blend of intuition and hard logic in mathematics. Harmonic's Aristotle AI system cracked a problem that has been open for 30 years.
This is truly foundational stuff. Aristotle solved the famous Erdős problem, #124, which has been open since the 1990s. And the speed of the whole process is, well, it's what's so remarkable here.
How fast are we talking?
So Aristotle solved the entire problem, something that decades of human mathematicians couldn't crack in just 6 hours. But here's the critical detail about rigor that changes everything. It then verified the full proof using Lean, a formal proof checker, in only 60 seconds.
Let's pause on Lean for a second. What is that exactly?
Lean is basically a rigorous logical accountant. It's software designed to check every single step of a mathematical proof to ensure absolute formalized accuracy. There's no room for human error or any fuzzy steps.
Whoa. Imagine scaling this intuitive and rigorously verifiable approach across all the unsolved problems in science and math. That capability just fundamentally changes the research timeline. That is a moment of wonder.
And that speed and rigor is the essence of what Harmonic is calling vibe proving. It's a fascinating concept that bridges two worlds that are usually separate.
Okay, explain vibe proving for us. What does that name even mean?
Vibe proving means the AI intuitively explores the huge solution space. It takes these high-level creative leaps a human mathematician might take late at night when they finally see the answer. It gets the vibe of the solution.
And then it checks its own work.
Precisely. It immediately formalizes that intuitive idea with symbolic rigor to make sure every single step is checkable and provable by something like lean. So it blends this fluid discovery with hard proof. It compresses years of expert work into just hours with zero loss of accuracy.
And this isn't just a theory. Aristotle already earned an International Math Olympiad gold medal.
Yeah.
It's already proven itself against the best human minds.
Yeah, it now instantly ranks alongside the math reasoning capabilities of the big players like OpenAI and Google DeepMind. The difference is the speed of verifiable, novel discovery.
What does vibe proving fundamentally change about the process of foundational mathematical research?
It creates a blend of human-like creative intuition and machine-level absolute accuracy.
That was a tremendous amount of ground we just covered.
Yeah.
So let's synthesize the 3 core takeaways that you, the listener, really need to carry forward.
First, remember this. The center of gravity for OpenAI leadership has decisively shifted to China. It's driven by these aggressive open strategies of DeepSeek and Quinn. The U.S. giants are just absent from the global open source table.
Second, content survival demands immediate adaptation to machine synthesis through generative engine optimization. If the machines can't read your structured content perfectly, you won't exist in the generative search future.
And finally, AI systems are now capable of generating foundational, verifiable new mathematical knowledge in hours. This is going to accelerate scientific discovery at a rate we've never seen before.
Given that Aristotle solved a 30-year-old mathematical problem and then verified the entire solution in just 60 seconds, how quickly will AI systems move through the remaining known open problems in mathematics and science? That is the question we'll leave you with today.
Keep exploring those concepts, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Take care.